Hello, welcome to Vlogs. I'm restarting these back up again. The weekly ones anyway. Every Sunday I'll do a vlog. More for me this time, more for like a therapy type thing for me. I stopped them I stopped the weekly vlogs last year because like nothing really was happening. Like since I moved in the place where I was, week to week, nothing really was changing and happening. So I just thought, you don't need a weekly vlog from me. You know, let's do a quarterly one. So when the year began, the fresh year, I did them like once every 2 or 3 months, and that was happy. But a lot's happened in like the last 2 or 3 months, and like I've been through quite a lot. So for me, it's almost like a therapy. I'm gonna go back to doing weekly ones. So I think it's really gonna help me, because I was rewatching my vlogs from August of last year to recent ones, and man, oh man, it was slightly upsetting, to be honest. It was slightly disturbing because like August and September of last year, I was in the middle of a breakup and moving home, and that's super stressful. And yet my demeanor, the way I was quite chirpy. I was quite positive, optimistic, even though like going through quite a lot. And then as the weeks went on into sort of October and November, and I was put like, you know, where I was and having to look for a place and trying to remain optimistic, but kind of getting nowhere really. I was still optimistic and cracking jokes, and I was much different to who I am now. And even like last summer, I was a lot different, I feel, in myself, to who I was even like in November and December of last year, and obviously, like, as you go through experiences in life, things change and you change and evolve, and so looking back more recently, like, been through a lot of depression, and it's changed me again. And man, it was quite like there was a moment this year in March. Like, if you go back over my vlogs from August to recent, in March you see a definitive change in my personality, even in my physical appearance. I look depressed, I've put on weight. Man, oh man, it's an instant change. If you go from the February or the January, I think it is, sorry, vlog to the March vlog, total change in personality. I thought my depression started in May, or like end of April, begin like May. That's when I thought my depression was. Actually, it turns out it was in March. If you go back to the vlogs, wow, it was a shock to see myself like that. Real big shock. So obviously, like, yeah, it started in March, and that was really because I reconnected with my ex-girlfriend. And obviously, like, it was a happy time, but also very tormented time, because once I invited her into my server, we had loads of arguments. Prior to her like reconnecting in January, February, no arguments, but then came into my server and we just had arguments, and that was a lot for both of us. Like, and COVID and everything had just piled on top, and you can see a definitive change of my personality. And I want to get back to who I was last year. Like, I don't think I fully will, because I was in love then, and I don't think I'll ever get back to that person for a while. But I do want to get back to a more happy and optimistic person, and that's what these vlogs are all about, is to help me do that. Like, I have a couple of people who have actually said, like, we miss your sort of vlogs, and it's really nice when people reach out to me and say those. But I don't know if I've ever done these for people. I've always done them for a record for myself, for when I'm older, like for when I'm a dribbling old man and I want to look back on my life. Like the reason I did one for a whole year, every single day for a whole year, because I wanted to chart the changes in my life for 1 year, because I know I'm going to forget all this when I get older, and so I want to look back and remember. And that's why I really did the yearly ones. But the continuation of them, I didn't really need to do them, really. I did them. I only really did them because some people were asking, but I think I did them more for me because I wanted to record the change of events. And this one, like now, every Sunday I'll do a vlog about what I'm getting up to, or next week, to be honest, I do want to talk a very specific subject, because recently I experienced living a week on the streets, and I want to talk about that next week, in the hopes, if anybody, well, there will be loads of people in my situation, or who were in my situation, because it was happening all over the country because of furlough. So if you find yourself up against facing an eviction, or like imminently moving and being made homeless, then I do want to share my time and experience living on the streets, because, man, it was super tough. And there was like 2 people that helped me through. And it's like, I think it will benefit, I hope it will benefit somebody who is up facing that currently, because like the reason I found myself on the streets was purely because of this furlough scheme that the government has created, to help people who weren't able to go to work because of the COVID situation. Man, it completely screwed me over, because I found myself in a situation where I was in a place where I was. If I wasn't in this place, none of that would have happened. But I found myself in this place, and then it kind of screwed me over. It was weird, and all because of what the government have laid down. So it's like I want to talk about it in the hopes that it will help somebody else. So therefore, the bad experience that I had is beneficial to somebody else. That'll be next Sunday anyway. But I just wanted to say, that the vlogs I'm going to return to doing on a weekly basis, because I feel it will help me get back to the person who I was months ago, like in January or December or November and October. Because if you go back and watch those vlogs, man, I was very optimistic. I was very cracking jokes, even though I was in a bad situation. Very sort of happy person, and then suddenly there's a change, and it goes down lower and lower until May, when it was a complete crash. But thankfully, I got through that, and I made a joke in one of the vlogs about, you hit rock bottom, and then you find the door into the basement, and you fall down into that. Well, guess what? In the basement, there is a well that I hit into and fell to the center of the earth. And that's where I was in May, literally at the lowest of low. Like, I even stated in one of my vlogs that I'd never kill myself because of what my dad did to himself. But in all honesty, there was 2 moments when it came very close to it, very, very close to it. There's only one person who actually helped me, and is the reason why I'm still here. And you know who you are, dude. You know who you are, and I want to thank you. But yeah, next week I'll talk about that in the hopes that it will help somebody else. But luckily, I say, I crawled out of the center of the earth, crawled up into that basement, and now I'm looking up at the stairs again and crawling out of the basement. That's where I currently am. Yeah, every week, every Sunday, I'll do a vlog and talking about a topic or talking about what's happened to me. To be honest, not much is going to be happening to me because I'm still waiting to go back to a job that I've kind of almost, I don't know, left, I guess. I don't know if I am employed by them or not. I don't know. Anyway, the cinema reopens whenever it reopens. I don't know. And they've said that I'd have my job there. So, but currently, and I'm like working at a fish and chip shop. So, and that saved me basically. That really did. So, Monday to Saturday, that's what I do. 5 or 6 till 9. Free fish and chips, man, I tell you. It helped me put on a little bit of weight, to be fair, that I needed. So every Sunday I'll do a vlog, and yeah, next week I'll be talking about my experiences that I would hope no one ever would have to endure. Honestly, I think though I was kind of lucky because I had money, and there's a lot of people out there who don't have that. So I feel I was lucky to. I feel like I was. Do you know what? I'll talk about it next week. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. This was just to sort of say the vlogs are gonna like once a week happen up again, and I'm doing it more for me as a therapy than for anybody else. But I know there's a couple of people who have wanted me to do these again, so I'm sure I'll get a message to say thank you for starting them up again or whatever. But yeah. Never give up, man. Never give up. I'll see you next week.